What's going on, Lions fans? Welcome to the Pride Detroit YouTube channel. I'm Meko, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite draft prospects in this year's draft, Kool-Aid McKinstry. And I'm going to be telling you guys exactly why I believe the Detroit Lions should have him high on their draft board and should be looking to target him in this year's draft if he's available to them at the 29th overall pick. Now, Kool-Aid McKinstry is a 3-year starter out of Alabama who started as a freshman for Nick Saban's defense. And that is a feat that only a few can actually claim. One of those players actually being Brian Branch, who the Detroit Lions drafted last year. And much like Branch, who was a standout player for Alabama, Kool-Aid McKinstry has the same type of pedigree and was able to have 3 very successful years under Nick Saban. In fact, his sophomore year is one of the best years that he actually had during his entire college career, where he was able to have 15 passes defended as well as an interception. And while McKinstry's interception numbers are not the biggest standout over his tenure in Alabama, it is still known that he was one of the most shut down corners, especially, again, like I said, when it came to playing man on man. McKinstry's ability to play press man at such a high level is one of the main reasons that in this past season, you started to see a lot of his targets kind of diminish and the likes of his counterpart, Terrion Arnold, start to see a more productive season because people just decided, you know what, we're not going to challenge Kool-Aid because he's just that technically sound and that competitive on the opposing end. And again, it's not just him in coverage. Kool-Aid McKinstry is also very physical when it comes down to defending the run and comes down to just putting hits on people. Again, kind of similar to Brian Branch, and those are the type of traits that I think are going to make him very appealing to the Detroit Lions if he's still hanging around when the Lions are on the clock to pick in that very first round. McKinstry also has some versatility, being able to play special teams as a returner. And while he didn't have any big time returns during his time at Alabama, he at least has that type of athletic profile to be able to go out there if needed be and go out there and compete as a return man in either the punt or kickoff game if the Lions just so decided to use him in that facet. Because he's also a better athlete than I think some people think he is. Granted, the fact that he wasn't able to compete in this year's NFL Combine due to a Jones fracture in his foot, McKinstry still went out and had a pro day with Alabama where he still ran, jumped for the vertical and jumped for the broad jump with that fractured foot and put up very respectable numbers in each of those 3 events, running somewhere between a 4.47 and a 4.52 in the 40, being able to have a 35-inch jump in the vertical, and still being able to jump 10.1 in the broad jump. Even with a fractured foot, those are very respectable numbers. And you have to believe that if healthy, he would be able to have put up even more, eye-popping numbers in those events. Now, I don't want to make it out to be that he's the most athletically gifted corner in this class. That may not be the case. The likes of Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, and Cooper DeJean may have him in those regards, and even a Nate Wiggins may as well. But when you turn on the tape, it's very easy to see that Kool-Aid's not a bad athlete, and he is absolutely capable of sticking with guys in both man and zone coverage. We all know as Lions fans that when it comes to an Aaron Glenn run defense, that they would like to be able to play more press man or at least just regular man-to-man situations with their corners. And that is kind of why I do believe Kool-Aid would be a good fit for them. He would be able to come into this team and immediately compete for that CB2 spot. And at the very least, if the Lions didn't want to push him, if they felt that he still needed time to recover from that foot injury that he is supposed to have had surgery on, then they at least can do that. And they have a veteran room that Kool-Aid can basically sit behind, learn from, with the likes of Carlton Davis, Amik Robinson, Emmanuel Mosley is still going to be there, Kendall Vildor. There are a lot of smart guys in that locker room that, again, McKinstry can kind of sit back, get healthy, and still be ready to compete if the Lions decide that they want to, again, roll him out once he's fully healthy from that foot injury. I know there might be some saying, okay, well, if Kool-Aid McKinstry is so good, if he's so highly touted, Meko, why is he going to be available to the Lions at 29? Shouldn't a corner like that, such a good press man corner, shouldn't he go higher in the draft? And the answer is, yeah. honestly, I'd be very shocked if Kool-Aid McKinstry actually made it to the Lions at 29. But if he does, he should absolutely be the pick because of everything that he's able to do and how well his skill set fits with what the Detroit Lions want to do defensively. But the reason that he may be available, this is a really good corner class. And when you have guys like Quinion Mitchell, when you have guys like Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, Nate Wiggins, there's going to be a lot of those guys that may go ahead of Kool-Aid, and the fact that he's currently injured and he may have to miss a good portion of the offseason workouts before he's able to actually start competing for a spot, maybe give a lot of teams a reason to just be like, you know what, we're going to pass and just continue to watch him fall down the board and hopefully try to get a bargain later. That type of gamble could be the Lions' gain. And again, it's very reminiscent of what happened with Brian Branch, where again, teams kind of just decided and overlooked him, and he fell perfectly into a situation where he's able to thrive. I think the same thing could happen with Kool-Aid here. There's also going to be teams that may have questions about Kool-Aid's production. Like I said, he only has 2 interceptions despite being a 3-year starter. But again, you look more closely at his play. You look at his ability to be sticky in coverage, his ability to challenge, his ability to, again, get pass breakups, which is just as good. I understand that, as fans, we would like to see turnovers, but being able to keep teams from getting first downs is just as good. And that's something that Kool-Aid did on a down by down basis while he was at Alabama. So, in my opinion, Kool-Aid McKinstry would be the perfect selection for the Detroit Lions if he is available at 29. He's competitive, he's physical, he's one of the best, if not the very best man-to-man corner, and I just think he will be a perfect scheme fit for Aaron Glenn to potentially be that CB1 of the future for the Detroit Lions. But that's my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the Detroit Lions drafting Kool-Aid with the 29th pick in the 2024 NFL draft? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Or do you think the Lions should be targeting another player instead? Let us know in the comment section below. And like always, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you can be locked into anytime we upload new content over here on the Pride of Detroit YouTube channel. Also, be sure to check out prideofdetroit.com. That way you can be up to date on any new articles that may be coming out about the Detroit Lions in the very near future. With all that said, I'm Meko. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.